100. Hi everyone, welcome to the third video. Now in this video what we're going to do is we're going to actually program this so when the user presses the button something actually happens. Okay, so currently when we press the button nothing happens. Now what we're going to do is to have a button that actually does something when you click on it. Okay, you need to then use a function, and the reason we need to create a function is that function needs to be called when that button is pressed. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I am now going to take the contents of the entry box that the user enters, and I'm going to store it in a variable called total. Now the entry box is just called entry box, but remember you may have called it whatever you want, so you might have called it get total or something along those lines. Now what I'm going to do is use the word or the name of the variable that stores the entry box data. So here it is entry box, and I'm going to use get entry box.get. The name of the variable equals entry box.get. Now what I'm going to do is I need to convert the contents of the variable into an integer, because whenever we use an entry box it automatically expects the contents to be a string. Okay, so here I'm just converting the variable into an integer, and now I'm going to do the calculation. So just for argument's sake, so it's easy to calculate and work out, we're going to have whatever number the user enters when the button is pressed. Okay, it will multiply that number by 10. Now what I now need to do is have my label 2, and that is going to obviously display the result of my variable total. Now I know we've already got a variable called label 2, which is the contents of a label. But what we're saying is, right, we're now going to use that label and we're going to tell it to display the variable total. So whatever is the total of that particular number multiplied by 10, it's going to output it here, and we need to use dot place again. Okay, now in the first video I told you, okay, to have total in speech marks. I'm going to show you why we now need to remove them. The next thing I need to do is where we have text equals click me, I now need to tell it which function to call. So I want it to call the click function, so I'm just going to have command equals click. Now most of us that used to use the function, when we call it, we put the name of the function in, and then we use brackets and we insert parameters if we need to. Obviously that's a little bit different when we're using Kinter to use functions. Okay, so all we're doing is telling it command equals click, and that is the name of my function at the top. So I'm going to run this and let's see what happens. Okay, so it's brought no errors up so far. I'm going to enter the value of 10. If I click me, it should multiply 10 by 10. Okay, so that works. So the calculation is correct. The logic is correct. However, just behind that label, you can still see the contents of total. So when we run this again, it shows total, click me, and it doesn't change. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to change this from speech marks to total and just give it the value of total, which at the moment doesn't have a value, so I'm going to do total equals 0. So now if I run this, it is displaying 0. If I put in 10, it should then replace 0 with 1. I can then use 5, so it should replace it with 50. Okay.